tell you the answers quickly to our three questions. Three quick questions that we asked this morning. Which fruit is the most popular and most consumed in the world? The answer is
a banana.
Yeah, 40 tons of bananas are consumed annually. Then which singing voice, la la, is the highest pitch? Is it soprano, tenor, or baritone? The answer is
soprano.
And then the last one, if you drop a yellow hat in the Red Sea, what does it become, Rachel?
It will not become red, just surprising enough.
True
but
story.
rather it'll become wet.
Yeah.
Because you drop the hat in the ocean like it's in water.
So don't drop your hat in the ocean.
So, my hat? Make sure it stays on.
Coming up in a moment, we're chatting to Nico Kleynhans right here on CCFM's Breakfast with Friends. So very good morning to you, Nico, and thank you for your time. How are you this morning?
I am doing okay this morning, and hi to the listeners. I've been contemplating technology lately. Last Thursday, we spoke of the technology which enabled us to be sitting in 3 studios in different parts of the city, and yet speak as if we were one in the same room. Now, while we were marveling at our achievements, a pair of Hardy-Dars landed outside my window and began to join my budgie in singing their songs of praise. And that's when technology starts going wrong, because outside influences happen. And by the time the birds had finished their choruses, 2 cats began to scratch at my door, feeling offended that they couldn't join me for my morning broadcast. So let's see how far we get today before technology changes things. But earlier this week, Facebook and WhatsApp crashed. And for some, it was a disaster. I had to revert to using SMSs again. And some of us even had to sit in the same room as our family and had to speak to them rather than sending them a WhatsApp message upstairs. Others just gave up until the disaster passed and went to bed. But during the few hours that Facebook and WhatsApp had crashed, I realized the degree to which technology controls us. And I realized that because Telegraph warned me that in those few hours, 20 of my acquaintances had given up and signed up to Telegraph, which meant I was now asked to welcome them into our nest. 20 in a few hours. I began to wonder whether Telegraph had in fact organized the crash. But I want to get away from technology for a while. And yesterday somebody asked me what I still wanted to accomplish this year. And my dream has got nothing to do with technology. It's in fact the opposite. My dream for this year is to find a bed and breakfast somewhere or a hotel. It must be situated alongside a slow-moving river, preferably one that has a well-treed forest close by. So I don't want to be in a crowded city. I want to get away from the distractions of the usual 200 emails that arrive in my inbox every day. And amongst those, all the scams asking me whether I want to tender for the Defense Department. Now, I imagine that's going to be a pricey venue. But you know what? It's going to be cheaper than divorce. It's going to be cheaper than therapy. It's going to be cheaper than nervous breakdown. So today, I want you to help me. Here is a fellow human being who wants to get away from technology for a while. I want to be able to have time to marvel at God's presence as revealed in nature. I want to discover the joy of God's humor as I observe the creatures in that forest interacting with one another. I want to fellowship with nature. I want to be able to read my Bible again as a book rather than a tablet that carries an entire theological library. So if you know of such a place where I can, for 2 or 3 days, recover, send it to questions@northwood.co.za. I'm sure somebody out there has felt like I do, and has discovered what I would hope would be my time of healing and relaxing in nature. Any ideas?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure that there will be a number of suggestions, because it is that thing of actually going to a place where you are away from technology and able to reconnect with your creator and his beautiful creation. So questions@northwood.co.za is where you can send those suggestions so that Nico can check that out. But as always, I think it's so important and so vital that we take stock of how much technology does influence us, and take stock of making sure that there's time when we disconnect. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was sharing with Rachel that the one evening I'd forgotten to charge my phone.
Yeah.
And so the Saturday morning when I woke up, my cell phone was dead. It was dead as a doornail. And typically what I would do is I'd plug it in, and as soon as there's enough power, I'd switch it on. But that Saturday morning, I decided, no, I'm going to let it charge fully while it's switched off and just let it be. And I'm going to take my physical Bible and read from my physical Bible. And I'm going to take a pen and a paper, and I'm going to write my thoughts on that. And I'm going to just be. And it was so refreshing. And that was just for a couple of hours, literally. And so little things like that, but we also need to think of bigger gestures 2-3 days away in the beautiful scenery and nature. So thank you for highlighting that for us this morning, Nico. Really appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.